everyone knows that the B48 has the most aftermarket love, and obviously for good reason. But not many people know about its little brother, the B48. We're going to show you how little mods you can add to your 330 to keep up with the factory M340. Let's hop into it. This is our 2019 330i with 64,000 miles on the odometer. And today we're gonna be throwing on a lot of the stuff that we have for the B48 platform and seeing what we can make with the JB4 on it. But first we need to get the baseline run done, so let's do that. All right, now BMW claims 255 to the wheel. We'll get this baseline run done first, and then let's actually see what it's making. This is a completely stock run on 91. And here we are with 242 wheel horsepower, 277 foot-pounds of torque.
Those horsepower numbers look pretty good for a four-banger on the B48. Now, before I go ahead and strap on a JB4 system, I'd like to talk about a little nifty device that we have called the JB Plus. This is a quick and easy little device that gets installed on the charge pipe right on the sensor. By the way, this is 50 state emissions legal, carb legal, has an emissions EO sticker, and let's go ahead and install it, and let's see what the gains are default out of the box. All we need to install this JB Plus is a small little flathead. On a cool car, it's easy to work on, no cuts or edits. Let's get started and install this real time. Lift the engine cover, locate the map sensor, go with the small flathead, release the locking tab, push, and release. Install the JB Plus system in line. This will go in here, and this will go just like that. Now, let's run it on the dyno and see how much gains we get.
This is a 91 run with the JB Plus. And there we have it with the JB Plus installed, 257 wheel horsepower, 302 foot-pounds of torque. Just with the simple plug and play out the box with 91 octane, we've gained 15 wheel horsepower and 25 foot-pounds of torque. You definitely would get a little more gains for those that have 93 octane available.
And the numbers don't look too bad for just a simple JB Plus. Now that we're finished with that, let's go ahead and install the JB4. I know you guys have been waiting for it. Get their JB4 little disclaimer, nice little keychain, couple JB4 stickers, OBD2, JB4. The JB4 is equipped with our new JB4 Pro Bluetooth adapter. This little adapter fits inside the JB4 case, which allows you to connect to our new free JB4 Pro app that you can find on iOS or Android App Store. This enables you to data log, change maps, clear and read codes right on the fly. This is what you need when you purchase your JB4 system. A lot of you guys have been asking, where do we get the apparel from? You go to burgertuning.com. All our apparel is on there, from our JB4 shirts to the hats that you can buy, and backpacks, sweaters, and more. Check out the back too. Juice box, JB4, baby.
Here's a run on JB4 Map 1 with 91. JB4 Map 1, 263 wheel horsepower, 318 foot-pounds of torque.
So after that Map 1 run, looking at the log and looking at the graph, pretty comparable to the JB Plus. However, I do see some timing pull that I don't really like. So Terry wants me to try the IAT spoof setting that we have. We're going to raise IAT to 150 degrees, and what that does is going to basically lower the timing tables, so the request from the ECU is less timing, so it doesn't pull as much. So let's go ahead and do a Map 1 run with the IAT spoof, again on 91 octane, to see if we get any differences from there.
This is JB4 Map 1 IAT spoof.
And the results look great for map 1 with the IAT spoof. Extra horsepower just like that, and the timing looks much better as well as the curve. That's a cool little cheat that you can use when you want to get a little bit more horsepower and do it safely on 91 octane. Now, since we know we're at the limits of 91 octane, let's go ahead and add some ethanol to bring up the content to E20, which mimics 93 octane for everybody else that's out there. We're going to add our ethanol content, and we're going to jump to map 2 after that. This is our CAN flex system for the B48 B58 G2X. With this device, you're able to tell the ethanol content in your tank right before it goes to the engine. We call it the CAN flex. Through this, you're able to get your ethanol output through LED, Bluetooth, hardwire, and through CAN bus. 4 different ways to get your ethanol content. What we also include with this is a 10-bar sensor. We put this inline for low pressure system so we can monitor low pressure fuel and make sure we get enough pressure and fuel through the system to the high pressure fuel pump. This kit is specifically designed for the G2X cars on a B48 and B58 platform. Let's go ahead and install it so we can go and load up some ethanol and see what our actual content is. We just finished getting the CAN flex system installed, almost right on the money with my estimate on adding the ethanol. We're at E22, which is pretty much 93 octane, exactly where I want to be at. So now we're going to go ahead and do map 2 runs, which require 91 to 93 octane. But since we're in California and have really bad 91, we definitely needed that 93 octane. So let's go ahead, click map 2, and do a dyno run.
Here's JB4 map 2 on 93 octane. Here we are, JB4 map 2 on 93, 286 wheel horsepower, 349.92 foot-pounds of torque. We've gained almost another 10 horsepower just being on 93 octane. That is pretty damn impressive.
Now before going to map 3, now that we added the E30, we're going to go ahead and install our new fuel pressure connector. We've released this for the B58 already. This will attach to the JB4 along with the new chip that we will provide. Install that, add some settings in which will be in the install guide. That will allow you to use more ethanol and make more power at the higher maps.
Here's JB4 map 3 still on 93. 301 wheel horsepower, 356 foot-pounds of torque. The B48 is not disappointing us. It is constantly just making more and more horsepower through these maps. So let's go ahead and go to map 4 on E30 and see what she makes. Here's JB4 map 4 on E30.
It's making 303 horsepower and 312 wheel torque. It's making a little bit less torque because it's a absolute map versus the additive map that's on map 3. So you can see the map 3 is hitting the target much more abruptly and harder down low versus what map 4 is doing. So map 4 is a more linear map versus the map 3 that's a bit harder down low as it's hitting the additive boost request all the way from down low to up top. Overall, we're making the same boost, different power curve. It just depends on how you want to drive it and what you want to do with your driving characteristics between these two different maps. G20, B48, B58 intake system. Now, for you guys that already have our intake system, we're going to release a new additional part that attaches to your current intake system, the BMS Inlet. This will couple with your current B58 billet intake system. So now we're gonna go ahead, install this on our car and see what gains we get coupled with the inlet and billet intake.
This is JB4 map 3 E30 with an intake. And there we have it, 315 wheel horsepower, 370 foot-pounds of torque. We have gained over 10 wheel horsepower just with the intake alone on the exact same map, no tuning changes at all. And, Payam has to add, and
besides the gains, the intake sounds freaking awesome.
that is true. The intakes sound insanely good. We'll install a clip right now. They say money can't buy happiness, but that sure damn does put a smile on my face.
Now that we got the results on our billet intake with our new inlet, let's go ahead and install our competition intake and a different style, shorter inlet that matches with that intake. Go ahead and do that right now and dyno it again on the same map, and let's get the results. Since we got everything looking good under there, we gotta add some more dress-up bits. We got the BMS titanium dress-up bolts for the front radiator mount. So let's go ahead and remove these old, janky-looking steel for the new, good-looking blue titanium. Now, a nifty trick I learned from one of my friends, Dion, from Oh My God Builds, you can follow him too. Grab a little piece of plastic, put it over this so you don't damage it when you're tightening it. Start a few threads, make sure it starts, put it over your socket. Sweet, just like that.
Now that all of that's installed, let's go ahead and check out the competition intake and what it makes. This is JB4 Map 3 on E30 with the competition intake. .321 wheel horsepower, 385 foot-pounds of torque for the competition intake over the billet intake, making 315 wheel horsepower, 370 foot-pounds of torque. So we've gained another 5-6 horsepower on the exact same map, no tune difference at all. And they say intakes can't add horsepower. Well, they're wrong.
Great gains regardless of what intake you choose, either the competition or the billet intake. But now you're gonna pair it with our new inlet that you can use for both intakes, no matter which one you have.
And so here we have the final graph coming in at 242 wheel horsepower, 277 as a completely stock car. And now we've ended up at 321 wheel horsepower, 385 foot-pounds of torque. We've gained nearly 80 wheel horsepower. It's a 4-banger 2-liter engine making over 300 wheel horsepower. But I'm curious, Payam, do you think there's anything more left in this car?
Honestly, we're still on the stock downpipe, and in the logs, we're losing some high pressure fuel. It's dipping below what I would like to see, so we're pretty much limited there, and we got the stock charge pipe on. Next time, we're gonna go throw on off-road test pipe, our new charge pipe system, as well as our G-Series Stealth methanol kit with a BM7 or BM10 nozzle. That will give us the more fuel, octane, and cooling that we need and help us out with the fuel volume so we can push the car a little bit further. I think we will probably see 350 wheel on a stock turbo B48 in the G-Series platform.
So as we talked about in the beginning of this comparing to the B58, so what would you say?
Actually, I don't know. That's a good question. I guess let's pull up a B58 graph and see what it compares to a fully tuned up B48 for now.
And here we have the comparison of an M340 B58 against the 330i B48, 321 wheel horsepower to 363 wheel horsepower, 385 foot-pounds of torque compared to 408. So not quite exactly there, but it's definitely a new goal to beat with the B48. And that concludes our first episode with the B48. I am absolutely astonished. With all that being said, our next goal is to beat a B58 M340. But until that episode, we appreciate all of the support and love. If you guys want to see anything specific on this platform, comment it down below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and we appreciate you guys for watching.